Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. It is a Friday. We're on the doorstep of the weekend, and it looks pretty good for the most part. Once we work through whatever showers that are around this morning, they'll be getting out of here, and weather conditions will be improving during this afternoon with leftover clouds and maybe some breaks of sun that might try to develop. But temperatures are going to be impacted today by the cloud cover and the arrival of a new cooler air mass. So we're looking at highs that will be pretty much in the low to the mid 60s. The rainfall from the cold front that's moving through this morning really isn't amounting to too much. And we're going to be dry through the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday look good. It is going to be cool though. And as we look at some of the temperatures to expect, we're going to be in this range of daytime highs basically in the low to mid 60s from northeast Virginia to southern New England. You start to get a little cooler though if you go up into upstate New York and then head into Vermont and New Hampshire, where highs will be in the upper 50s and low 60s. And it gets a little bit warmer when you head down into the Carolinas, where temperatures will be topping out mostly in the lower 70s. And I think Sunday offers a repeat performance. Temperatures again will also be in the low to mid 60s. The only difference for Sunday, I think, is that we will start with sunshine and then we're going to see arriving clouds as the next weather system will start to get underway for Sunday night into Monday. Here's our satellite loop this morning. A couple of interesting things here. You see the blow up of clouds in the northeast, and that, of course, part of that next cold front that's coming on through. You have the old frontal boundary that is out in the Atlantic Ocean that runs down across Florida. And at the bottom of that, you're seeing what will probably be Tropical Storm Gamma at some point over the weekend. Starting to see that circular look to it. We're going to take a close-up view of this in just a bit. I want to go back up to the satellite to the north, though, and take a look at the flow from Canada here. We're still under the influence of this rather deep trough that is in the eastern part of the United States, and we're getting these weather disturbances that are moving along it. We're also getting the cooler air, while in the west it remains dry thanks to a ridge of high pressure aloft. So whenever you have a deep trough in the east, you're going to have a strong ridge out in the west. The atmosphere has to compensate with one strong in one area of low pressure to the east. You're going to have a strong area of high pressure out to the west. So nothing much is really going to change here while we're being dominated by this general trough that's in the eastern part of the United States, other than the fact that occasionally we're going to have these weather systems coming through from time to time, and they are going to bring through cold fronts and maybe some showers or some rain. And then in between that, for a couple of days, we see cooler temperatures. So here's how it sets up on the surface map. This morning, we are waiting this front to pass that's to our west, and the cooler air that's behind it, thanks to high pressure that is building down out of Canada. As far as rainfall is concerned over the next 7 days, it looks like we're going to see basically maybe a quarter to a half an inch with whatever happens Sunday night into Monday with the next low. Really doesn't look anything spectacular. Looks like heavier rains from that old frontal boundary run down across Florida and, of course, back into the Gulf of Mexico because of the tropical developments there. So let's take a look at how this is playing out in the next 5 days. So our weekend is pretty much set. Our rain that went through for this morning, of course, that runs up to the northeast this afternoon. Weather conditions get better. We'll clear out tonight. Temperatures will be down in the 40s in most places. Saturday, lots of sunshine with highs mostly in the 60s, probably more clouds as you go up north into upstate New York with a little instability there. Sunday, sunshine giving way to arriving clouds. You can see there's moisture building up off the Carolinas. System swings in across the Great Lakes. You'll see a low develop probably just east of the Delaware coast. We'll get some rain here Sunday night into Monday morning. I don't think it really amounts to too much. And then it moves away. Another high builds in for Monday and Tuesday. Again, temperatures by day will be in the 60s. And then we have a sharper cold front that comes through on Wednesday with some showers Behind that, we'll have a fairly quick shot of chilly air that will finish off the latter part of next week. All right, let's take quickly a look at what's going on in the tropics. And if you look on the far left, you'll see what is developing in the Western Caribbean. We've been noting all week that conditions were favorable for tropical cyclone formation in this region because of the fact that we have lower than normal pressures, not just there, but across much of the Caribbean. You also have disturbed weather in the Eastern Caribbean that will have to be watched as it moves westward. We could see maybe another tropical system come out of this. And there's a disturbance even out in the tropical Atlantic that's moving westward, but that's not expected to develop, at least not from what we see at the moment. But let's focus our attention on the one in the Northwest Caribbean. The Hurricane Center mentioning now an 80% probability, both in the short and longer range, of this becoming a tropical depression or a tropical storm, and that tropical storm watches or warnings may have to go up at some point later today for parts of the Yucatan Peninsula. And you can see the hurricane tracking models generally to the northwest and then eventually into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. The problem is that we have a very weak flow across the Gulf and across the Northwest Caribbean. So this system may meander for a while, and its impacts over the impact of the land is certainly going to impact the strengthening aspect of this. So there's a lot of uncertainty in both the short and long term as far as what's going to be coming out of all of this. And you can see the hurricane tracking of the hurricane strength models showing most of them have this becoming at least a tropical storm in the short and medium range. We only have one in the longer range that has this going to a hurricane, but in general, this does look like it's going to strengthen into a tropical storm. And just from the standpoint, I'm just going to give you what the GFS does with this really quick. And as always, when you look at these weather models, in the longer term, you have to use them with a very large grain of salt because obviously the variability here is going to be rather wide. You're seeing this develop here on the model today and tonight into tomorrow. Again, does it stay out over the open waters? Does it go over the Yucatan Peninsula? And then what happens when it gets into the Gulf of Mexico? Some models strengthen this to a hurricane like the GFS does on the global models, others not so much. So the flow, one thing we do know is that the steering here is not going to be all that strong. And that's going to lead to much of uncertainty in the longer term regarding any possible impact to the United States. So I think that's going to be our forecast dilemma for the weekend. So have a great day. Hopefully you'll have a great weekend. There's no Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight. We'll be back Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And that's it. Don't have much more to say. So have a great day.